Welcome back to the Welsh Triathlon Super Series, race 4 of 6, and for the first time the Tour has left the south coast and gone north. Bala Lake hosting an Olympic distance event. No drafting, no wetsuits, not a cloud in the sky. It could be a little warm for the athletes, but it's a spectator's dream, and they're on for a cracking race. Now the series started in Llanelli, where quick transitions and fleet-footed running saw Matchett take the men's event. Catherine Marks pipped Emma Palfrey on the line for a fantastic finale. Then the Tour went to Pembrokeshire, Broadhaven hosting this round. It was rough, it was steep, it was very, very tough, finishing with a 10-kilometre cliff-top run, and again it was Matchett who came through, overtaking Oliver Simon as they worked their way off the beach and up the hill. Matchett never looked back. And then, of course, the capital city, Cardiff, hosting round 3. Fast and furious. The best of the British were there in a sprint event. And now they turn their attention to the largest freshwater lake in Wales, Bala Lake. 1,500 metres in the water. That will be followed by an out and back bike ride, and then a similar run. Matchett unbeaten so far in the series and looking very comfortable.
First 3 races have gone really well for me, so I suppose the pressure's on, but it has been on for the last few races as well, and I think I've dealt with it all right. So hopefully today I can go out and do it again and be up there.
Can anyone stop him? Well, Chris Silver might stand a chance. He finished second in the first event in Llanelli.
I did come off my bike just before the Pembrokeshire race, so that kind of set me back a little bit, but since then I had a good result at Cardiff. Definitely targeting the series and hopefully get a top 3 overall.
We also should watch out for Josh Lewis, who's a good swimmer. Ollie Simon, a veteran of the Tour, has been looking good, and Nathan Ford, who's pretty strong on the bike and he's an excellent swimmer as well, but he has to avoid mistakes if he's going to challenge Matchett.
He's the main man, he's the guy to catch today, so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
In the women's, Emma Palfrey stands a chance. She'll be glad that the waters are calm. Didn't enjoy her experience at Broadhaven. Catherine Marks, winning the first race of the series, is a contender, and Palfrey has been consistent but is yet without a win.
I've done 3 races on the trot before I got to Broadhaven, so it's my 3rd. So I was tired going into that, but a few weeks rest now and I'm confident now today, rested and looking forward to it.
Vicky Johnston starts as favourite, having dominated in Cardiff, her first race in the series. She won all 3 disciplines.
My plan is hopefully to lead out the swim, lead off the bike, and then hopefully not get caught on the run. That's always the aim for me at the minute, is just kind of hang on for the run and just see how long I can hang on. So yeah, if that happens, I'll be happy.
Just a reminder, it is a standard distance triathlon, the same as they do in the Olympic Games. A deep water start in Bala Lake and 1,500 metres to swim. No wetsuits, you will notice. That is a rare thing in any British triathlon. It means the temperatures of the lake have gone up above the 22-degree mark. And it does favour the better swimmers. So expect to see the likes of Joshua Lewis certainly make his mark. Ford might be able to do something. In terms of the women, Johnston is by far and away the best swimmer. An anti-clockwise loop. Often the sighting is very difficult in this lake, but with these calm conditions, the big red buoy sticking out nicely. Commonwealth Games athlete Josh Lewis leading the way, with Nathan Ford in yellow on the far side.
Did 1 non-wetsuit swim when I was out in Austria, and it was similar temperatures to this. So to be quite honest, it doesn't really make any difference if it's wetsuit or non-wetsuit for me. So yeah, I'm quite happy.
Well, this is unusual. One of the best swimmers in the group, Ollie Simon, drifting way over to the left. I think he sensed he's on the wrong line, now making his way back towards the main group, but he is going to miss the lead group by some way.
If it is a bit warmer in there, you're not going to have to worry about cold toes on the bike. I suppose that's the positive. Some people might be a bit uncomfortable because they've been swimming so much in the sea, but I've been doing most of my training in the pool, so I'll be happy if the temperature's a bit warmer.
Well, we've got a lead group of 5 and Ollie Simon is not in there. Lewis it is leading, Matchett in 2, Ford is there, John is there as well, and Chris Silver in the group in red. Now you can see his left arm, which is slightly unusual action, but he's a very good runner, so he could come good in the latter stages of the race. But can anyone contend with Matchett?
The plan is to do similar as I have done in the previous races, swim well, get a good position going onto the bike so that I don't have to really use up all my energy on the bike and have a good lead, and then when the stronger bikers, potentially when they do come through, that I'm comfortably able to hold with them and not work too hard.
Josh Lewis leading the way, a man from Guernsey. He's a big build, looks more like a boxer than a triathlete. Won't affect him on the bike, but it may well hold him back a little on the run. So he ploughs his way over the pebbles. It's not a comfortable exit here in Bala. Matchett, you can tell he's got soft feet. Chris Silver in red, Nathan Ford in yellow, and Kieran John at the back. He's a good swimmer. I think probably he'll struggle to stay with the pace of the big men on the bike, but a great effort from Kieran John to be up in that leading group. The one absentee is, of course, Ollie Simon, who really needed to be with this leading group if he was going to stand a chance of winning today. But Ollie is going well on the bike. We'll see whether he can make up ground on these 5 athletes. Nice to see a quick transition from Lewis. Here comes Ollie Simon, and the gap is around 30 seconds. Lewis is going to be first to mount over the red line. Now he can get underway. Oh, now that was careless, very careless indeed, but maybe the leg's a little bit dead. He's lost all the advantage he had, and he's in a ridiculously high gear, and that's Kieran John who goes flying past him to take the lead. An opportunity lost there for the Guernsey man. May not make a huge amount of difference, but sometimes these races are won and lost by seconds. 1, 2, 3 is Ollie Simon. 6th place at the moment, and Ollie Simon's time 21:16, so actually not 30 seconds behind, 45. Here's the leading woman, Vicky Johnston, who dominated in Cardiff. Fastest on the swim, fastest on the bike, fastest on the run. And she's got a good lead here. No sign of the second woman. And I'd be surprised if she didn't have at least 2 minutes lead. The run is her least favourite of the disciplines, but she looked pretty comfortable in Cardiff. Jasmine Bowyer is the second lady out of the water. Just looking at the times, 24:59, exactly 2 minutes behind Vicky Johnston. And on the bike, that is well over a kilometre. She's unlikely to see her, except for the dead turn. Emma Palfrey is away. Careful exit, and Katie Greenwood some way behind, down in 5th at the moment. Now remember, Greenwood won the event in Pembrokeshire. It was a similar distance, and Greenwood got better and better once she was out the water. Kieran John still leading in the men's event, but we're waiting for the big men like Ford and Silver to wind it up. Here comes Nathan Ford as they head south towards Dolgethley. It's a flattish road, 1 or 2 steady climbs, but it's going to be quick, and Ford will enjoy it.
I always go out to race my own race, really. Always have a sort of a plan in mind for each race, and it's always different depending on what race it is. Fingers crossed I can be up there.
Nathan Ford went past Kieran John seemingly very easy, but you can see they are towing along the likes of Matchett and the likes of Kieran John. Chris Silver is going to take his turn at the front of the field. These two could do with working together, but it's a non-drafting race.
Yeah, I'm pretty strong on the bike at the moment, so hopefully make up a bit of time and maybe put a bit of time into some others on the bike and see what I've got left on the run.
I think it's fair to say that the out on this bike route is easier than the back. So these big guys need to be aware, they need to save something. Alex Matchett, this is a very characteristic performance from him, the head nodding away. He's just sitting 12 metres behind anyone who's prepared to drag him along, saving himself for the run. Welcome back to Bala Triathlon, round 4 in the Welsh Triathlon Super Series. It's an Olympic distance race, a group of 5 exiting the water together, led by Josh Lewis of Guernsey and Ollie Simon, the most noticeable absentee from that leading group. Alex Matchett comfortably in there. A mistake from Josh Lewis mounting his bike, that cost him the lead very early on, and he's not really recovered from that mistake. And now it's Chris Silver who leads the way, wearing red, going past Nathan Ford at the 10-kilometre marker. And those two know they need to build an advantage over Matchett. Matchett 3 wins out of 3, and he's run himself out of trouble on every occasion. Vicky Johnston has started well, just as she did in Cardiff. A 2-minute lead over everyone in the swim. Jasmine Boyer in second place after a steady swim, and Emma Palfrey in third in the women's, looking for her first win in the series. Chris Silver fully focused, trying to build something of a lead over Alex Matchett, and Silver just spinning the wheels. This is Alex Matchett, the deep rims, the time trial bike, perfect for this course in Bala. He comes well prepared.
Allows me to get hopefully to a better position, more aerodynamic position, and also I can change gears at the front, so it means that I don't have to brake from that position. It should be faster, but also it's about the legs.
Well, it's all right if you have a choice. Ollie Simon certainly does, and he at the moment is setting the fastest splits out on the road. He's just about to come past Nathan Ford. I think Ford's going to get a bit of a shock here. Ford started very, very hard. I think he's paying the price for that. And Ollie Simon must be going 5-6 kph faster than Nathan Ford. Jasmine Boyer. No sign of Vicky Johnston so far. And the splits that we've had out on the course indicating that she is losing ground at a significant rate. Johnston still looking comfortable.
It's just a really honest course. It's just out and back on the bike, so not really any room to hide, but that suits me. I like to just get my head down and go.
Pushing a fairly hefty gear. Now she finds the right one for the climb. And Ollie Simon with that familiar sound of the disc wheel up towards Matchett. So Simon goes into second, Matchett pushed down a third, and the only man in front at this stage is Chris Silver. And at this speed, Ollie Simon is going to catch Chris Silver without any trouble at all. I must say he's looked fairly impressive for a man who really focuses on the long distance races. He'll go into an Ironman in China later this year, trying to get qualified for the World Championships in Kona. And Ollie Simon blasts past Chris Silver, he stays in the saddle. Chris Silver, I think, similar pacing mistake to the one we saw from Nathan Ford, pushing too hard in that first 5 or 6k. Well, the mountains surrounding Bala Lake are sensational. The Arran Mountains, not far down the road, the beautiful peak of Cadair Idris. Lots of youngsters involved in the weekend as well, and if you want a future, you've got to secure the kids at this stage. I must say, the standard going up and up every single year. Same rules apply. Just a shorter course for those with shorter legs. And as well as the junior events, there's also a very competitive relay event going on. Teams coming en masse from Cardiff. They've got plenty here and actually have very strong male and female representation. And of course the mixed teams is going to be hard fought as well. Well, stunning conditions. Now the first bike in, and it is Ollie Simon, and he's managed to shake off the chasers, but we'll wait and see by how much. He's had a tremendous run. Remember, Ollie Simon was 45 seconds off the lead coming out of the water. It took him some 15 kilometres to catch the leaders on the bike, and he has not looked back since. Is this going to be his day? He needs at least a minute over Alex Matchett, but Matchett is the next man into transition. Having sat back in the early stages of the bike ride, Matchett's got the pacing absolutely right and taken full advantage of his time trial bike. So Simon is away. We have seen this scenario time and time again this season. But the faster runner of the two is the slimmer of the two. It's Alex Matchett. Simon, a brilliant long-distance triathlete, but he just doesn't have the leg speed for the sprints and the Olympic distance races. We'll see the contrast. Chris Silver, he will fancy his chances of a top two. Can he catch Alex Matchett? Well, he's going to have to be on very good form. Here is Matchett, that familiar style. He went sub 30 minutes for 10k in Cardiff, and the conditions here are just about as good, although there are one or two extra climbs. If he can do sub 30 minutes today, that would be sensational. And he's already up on the shoulder of Oliver Simon. Matchett, who's been at medical school for the last 4 or 5 years, how he combines that with all the training he puts in, I'll never know, but he will qualify as a doctor this summer, and he's going to end this summer as the champion in the Welsh Triathlon Super Series, unless something goes drastically wrong. Vicky Johnston led out of T1. She's going to lead the women's out of T2 as well. This is the discipline she doesn't really like, but I thought she looked pretty sharp in Cardiff. Emma Palfrey is up into second. She's had a good season, and I think you have to appreciate that the likes of Emma Palfrey and Katie Greenwood are working women as well as sporting women. Those on full-time training have a massive advantage. Vicky Johnston with Aaron Bentlin in her sights. She doesn't have to run that far, luckily. Just 5k out, 5k back. Ollie Simon, he's lost first position, and the way things are looking, he's going to lose second as well, because Chris Silver moving well on this slight downhill stretch. And Silver actually covering the ground at the same speed as Alex Matchett. If he can raise his game just a little, he may be able to close the gap. Emma Palfrey looking much, much better in the run than she was at the beginning of the season. Been impressed by her performances this year. She's one who is prepared to hurt herself. The dead turn for Vicky Johnston, and she will soon see exactly how much of a lead she's got. She's lying 15th in the race overall, and actually she made the top 10 in Cardiff, which was a tremendous performance. Chris Silver striding it out, but the leg speed still doesn't match that of Alex Matchett, who has less than 300 metres to go. He'll break to his right, down onto the beach. He'll see the banners in just a minute's time. And it's going to be another comfortable win for Alex Matchett. He takes the win to make it 4 out of 4 here in Bala. Brilliant.
It was always going to be difficult as hot weather. People respond differently to the heat, so I think it was just about making sure that first 5k to the turnaround point was paced quite well. Boys pushed me really hard, so I was just chuffed to get the win, really.
And Chris Silver pushed him hardest of all. Matchett's running time 29.51, Silver 29.37.
probably pushed it a bit too hard at the start of the bike and then suffered a bit into the headwind on the way back. But so hot out there, even in the shade, yeah, it's brutal, just suffering the whole way on the run.
Yeah, he's on good form. If he'd paced the bike better, he might well have challenged for the win. Ollie Simon, third place. He's back on the podium again.
I knew I was going to struggle to beat Alex and Chris on the run, so I was happy just to drop the guys behind so I could hold on to third.
That's exactly what he managed to do. Here are the results. 1:46.14. Matchett won this race, back in 2013 in 1:50, so he's improved massively. Chris Silver, 29 behind. Ollie Simon, 2:27 the margin. And Vicky Johnston, it's a question of how far ahead she is. She's just over 36 minutes for the run, 2:02.34.
I've done this course a few years ago. It was a lot tougher than I remember, though. I don't know if it was the heat or if I'm just less fit, but yeah, really enjoyed it out there. I think the next one's a sprint, so that'll be interesting to see how I fare over that, but I've got a few weeks now to get a bit more training in for that.
So that's Johnston's second victory here in Bala, and this finish by Emma Palfrey, the second time she has been on the podium in the series. She has given it everything.
My running's come on the last couple of years, loads, so I think that's an advantage to have that at the end, that I can go. I mean, it was tough with the heat, and the heat it was just everywhere, there's no air. Just chuffed. I don't know what to say, but yeah.
Katie Greenwood won in Pembrokeshire. Today she comes fourth.
I really enjoyed the race. The conditions were perfect. Really good swim. The cycle was quite tough, and I did fall off my bike. And then to do the run, I just went for it, and yeah, I picked up a few places on the run, so I was really happy with that.
So confirmation, 2:02.34. That's another good performance. 8:21 clear of Claire Brown. Palfrey 11:05 behind. Vicky Johnston in a league of her own here in Bala. And it all started off with an excellent swim. Llyn Tegid, it's known in Welsh, which means beautiful lake, and everything was Tegid today. Stunning, stunning conditions. And I think the athletes will have enjoyed it, despite the fact that they had to drink twice as much fluid as normal. Some brilliant performances. Matchett and Johnston taking home the bulk of the prize money on offer, and of course taking their place on the top of the podium. Matchett unbeaten so far in the Super Series this year. Can he keep it going all the way through? We have two more sprint events to come, and the first of those will be the Tusker Triathlon in Porthcawl, which is sandwiched between Cardiff and Swansea. The conditions will be rough and tough. Those who don't like open water swimming better get some training in, because it's going to be very different to Bala Lake. Hopefully you can join us for round 5.